Give me 1 second. Let's turn this thing around.
Oh
All
man, got the
right.
shades going on, the cool bike in the
Here we go.
background. Got everything
hmm
happening.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
Yes, sir.
For the two people that may join us, this is going to be pretty incredible. We'll see if two aging into masters and late masters athletes can figure out how to do an Instagram live here.
This is the kind of thrilling content that I live to bring to your followers and my followers. So.
I'm pretty thrilled, man. This is big.
You should be. This is a
Um,
big race. Yeah.
So I guess we can get right to it because people may watch this or join in or whatever. But
Mhm.
let's talk about the race. Tell us about the history of the race, kind of how you found it, what it's like. Give us the deets because I imagine not many people know, maybe out on the East Coast, as much about Tour of the Gila here.
Yeah, Tour de Gila is a long-running stage race here in New Mexico, based in and around Silver City. It is a 5 day long stage race. It's been pretty much the same format for as long as it's been around, which has been a few decades. It is, I would say, of all the stage races in the US, the one that's closest to like the Grand Tour racing that you see on the television, like the Tour de France, like Giro d'Italia. It's longer stages. It's stages that are up in the mountains. We're at about 6,000 feet of elevation here, so being able to perform at high elevation is definitely a big element to this race. And yeah, traditionally it has attracted some names who've gone on to do some pretty big things in cycling. I know Lance Armstrong competed here one year.
Wow,
Many other, really illustrious U.S. cyclists have used Tour of the Gila as like a launching pad to um, get across, go across the Atlantic and race in Europe. So.
that's awesome. And
Mhm.
how many times have you done it, not including this year?
Not including this year. Let's see. I've done, I think, 3 years in the UCI race, so 23, 22, 21. Before the pandemic times, I did the lower category races where I think it was still like a 4 or 5 day format. And I've even done the Grand Fondo race that they do out here, which basically does stage five, the Gila Monster stage, which is like the queen stage of the race. So,
Nice.
um, yeah, I mean, I would say about 4 years. This is my fifth time
Oh,
coming back.
that's great. And
hmm
I know this will probably be maybe a slightly extended cut of our daily recaps from the stages that you've got, but um, what kind of prep goes into this? Because you're talking about it's closest to the Grand Tour, and maybe that's a little bit different than some of the other races you're uh, kind of doing, which are maybe single day or not as
hmm
crazy. But like, what goes into getting ready for something in New Mexico at 6,000 feet with 5 days of grueling racing?
Yeah, there's really a lot of elements of preparation that go into getting ready for a stage race like this. I mean, there's the physical conditioning, right? I would say in terms of like the physical demands of this race, it's a bit less punchy than races like Redlands, where I was 2 weeks ago. Um, there are more longer climbs. There are climbs at higher elevation. So, this is really a race where you need to, if you want to do well in general classification, you really need to have a strong aerobic engine for sure. You need to be a good climber. You also need to be a good descender too, because there are some very fast, very technical descents. So really, the one who comes out on top is kind of the total package. But aside from like the physical demands, there's also really a lot of like equipment and preparation that goes into making these races happen. I mean, I drove from Tucson. I'm here with my BMC, which was my old race bike for many years, but I also have in the background here, a little bit dark, my time trial bike and my new Aero road bike. So
Ooh.
I traveled with three bikes for this race because I could drive from Tucson. It's about a 3.5 hour drive. Um, I feel like that's a pretty big advantage, being able to bring all this different equipment because, for instance, this BMC behind me, it's a bit of a lighter bike than my Aero road bike. So this is going to be the bike of choice for me tomorrow. and it's nice to have like a few other arrows in the quiver to choose from. And
Yeah.
so you got to get all these bikes ready. You got to make sure everything works, make sure everything's tightened down, make sure drivetrains are all clean, everything's working. So actually, like a full day of prep that goes into it before we even drive out here.
I was actually thinking about you today because as I texted you earlier, I went on a nice gravel ride, which was like perfect weather here, 70
Hmm.
degrees, like cl big poofy clouds with,
Hmm.
sun coming through and wildflowers along like the trail I was on. And we were talking about bike prep the last couple days. And there I
Hmm.
was, like I got all my stuff charged, had my batteries for my SRAM Axis all charged up. Even went and made sure like my chain was good. I put new sealant in the
Hmm.
tires. Uh, I go to get on the bike, I snap my head unit in, and that thing is just like deader than a doornail. And I'm like, all right,
Tragic. Can't
fantastic.
ride a
And then
bike.
then I go to like I'm like, well, I guess I can just like quickly just use my watch because I, connect the power. I don't can't look at it all the time. And I'm like, my watch was like 6%. I'm like, this is really fantastic. And just that morning, like my electric toothbrush had also completely crapped out with a bad battery. So I'm like, what the hell is going on here? So,
Yeah, there's a lot
um,
of batteries in these things too. I mean, shifters,
well,
electronic shifting. It's
the
you gotta.
worst part was I'm like, all right, we're good. I'm on the trail. Get going, like shift up a couple gears, get into a nice, just steady cadence, like first kind of real gravel ride of the year for me. And then I'm like, cool. The coin battery in my left shifter for the SRAM setup, that's dead. So I can't shift down. So I'm like, I'm leaving it where it is. And there are a couple of hills, and I just had to muscle up those suckers. So I guess public service announcement to anybody that may watch this at some point is like change the coin batteries because those are the ones that get you.
Up in there. Yeah, there's batteries in there. I bet you didn't even know.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, because I hadn't touched the bike since the, really last fall. I was just on like the road bike on the trainer and stuff. And then like a Dumbo. I'm like, all right, very good. But anyway, um, so I guess can you share a little bit about the like the different stages and how they shake out, and then we can talk about stage one a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. So 5 days of racing starting from today, Wednesday, running through Sunday. Um, Today was the opening time trial stage. They've actually changed up the order. It used to be stage three. Tomorrow will be a long road race, ending in a pretty steep final climb. So the Muggione stage. Stage three will be the inner loop road race. It's the shortest of the three road stages, but still a really challenging stage with a lot of climbing up and down. Stage four is the downtown criterium. So that's 40 laps around the downtown with actually a fairly significant amount of climbing accumulated in there. And then the final stage is the longest road stage. They call it the Gila monster, but it's nearly 100 miles and 10,000 feet of climbing, and it is a brute. So that's what we've got
Especially
in
after the
store for the next
full.
4 days. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well,
We
actually,
built up a
real
little
quick.
fatigue, and then it's time to do the really hard thing. So
Yeah, no joke. I mean, and then you appreciate stuff like the Tour de France for how many stages that they have, and they've just got like the 60 mile, the seven. I mean, it's
they would
absolute.
look at the Gila Monster stage on Sunday and be like, yeah, it's a short stage. We'll be over and done with relatively quickly.
How
So
long? I will get to this, I guess, for stage four, but how long is each lap time wise when you guys are cooking through there?
yeah, that it typically is about I think that one is close to an hour and a half in
Hmm.
total. So yeah, I struggle with math, but something on the order of like 2 minute laps.
Yeah. So I mean, it feels like you're in a video game, just doing laps in a race car. I bet.
Yeah, yeah. With like tons of haptic feedback because it's a really, really bumpy road.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, downtown Silver City. It's also home to like the highest curbs in the United States. Like I kid you not. You go down to you swing through the downhill onto turn four to the start finish straight, and you're just greeted with a curb that's like 3 feet high off the
Oh my
ground.
God.
It's crazy. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk stage one, man.
Hmm.
I mean, tell us how everything kind of shook out on the start, and maybe walk us through just how your day was. I mean, at your leisure here.
Yeah. Yeah, so stage one, like I said, they switched up the order a little bit this year. Now they're beginning with the time trial, the individual time trial. So for anyone who's watching doesn't really know, time trials are a bit of a different affair compared to the other stages because it's not a mass start. We're all going off at intervals of either 30 seconds or a minute, depending on where we are in the starting order. You're not allowed to like draft or work with any of the other competitors out on course. You either have to just like pass them really quickly or just stay away from them. And we're permitted to use different bikes for that too. So, I have my time trial bike over here. It's a little difficult to see, but we
Oh,
got
there we
some.
go. Yeah,
Yeah, there we go.
sick.
It's my Speed Concept Gen 2. Um, these bikes are built to go really fast in a straight line and do nothing else. They're like pretty sketchy in terms of handling. If you have a really good fit, really what you're trying to do is just minimize your coefficient of drag. You're trying. Wind is the enemy here. Just air is what's slowing you down more than anything else. So it's all about trying to like crumple yourself up into a little tiny paper ball shape. And you can imagine that it's pretty hard to see when you've got this dorky helmet on and you're kind of crouched in here. So um, yeah, this is a like an especially interesting one because this time trial it's about 16 miles long. It's on the longer side of most TTs in the U.S. And it ended up being about a 36-minute effort for me. But there's a lot of elevation gain up and down, and so you're kind of cooking away on the climbs, and then you crest over the top, and now you're like rocketing down this 7% hill and hitting 50 miles per hour, while you've basically got like very minimal control over the bike. You don't have access to your brakes or anything, so you really you got to be in tune with your handling on these things. Um,
So you're
so
saying it's
yeah,
not like Zwift where you just go as fast
no,
as you can?
it's like anti-Zwift. They would just go straight like off the end of the
Oh,
road, and
right.
that would be it. Yeah,
I love watching the cornering in Zwift where you're going down one of those hills and they've got a sharp corner and your guy just goes
yeah, just rip hairpins at 50 miles per hour. It's so easy. Yeah,
right.
yeah. So, anyways, this is definitely a no brakes required TT. It's just an out and back. So there's literally like one spot you have to touch your brakes. So there's a lot of like top speed stuff going on there. I mean, I was able to share like a little cut from my recon ride yesterday, and you could see kind of how high the speeds really get.
Yeah.
Um, for me personally, I think I was like right on par with what I would expect time wise. The conditions they seemed extremely good, but we started earlier in the morning than we usually did. I was expecting faster times on the day compared to where it's been historically because there are a lot of strong time trials here. There's a lot of fresh legs, right? So I don't know. It seemed like the times overall were a little bit slower. I was about 15 seconds slower than my personal record from last year. I ended up, 31st, which is definitely not great, but this is such a long, hard stage race that
Yeah.
anything can happen in the next 4 days. And I'll tell you, even like a minute gap, 2 minute gap, it could mean absolutely nothing on stage five because
Yeah.
it will just be like an explosion on
Right.
that. So this is, really for me going to be all about being as consistent day in and day out, racing smart, and really digging deep, when it gets hard, like at the end of the climb tomorrow.
Right. I'm looking forward to because I know we talked about kind of prioritizing recovery as you go through
Mhm.
this and hopefully being able to do some updates here and there if you're ready. But I'm kind of reminded of what was it last year with a trend of like, this is me before the blah blah blah. And then so we've like Steven at today's one and then stage five, it's just like bags under your eyes, absolutely like
Either,
annihilated. Sunburn.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh man.
yeah.
Hey,
This is about as
go ahead.
fresh faced as you'll see me here in the next five
Hey,
days.
at least we got to do it.
Yeah.
Before we let you get back to recovery or, do any further remarks to wrap your kind of stage one recap, I have to ask the Dylan Johnson related question here of because I don't
hmm
know this for time
hmm
trial whatsoever. What's the tire choice for time trials these days, and have they gone wider like just about every other discipline.
Yeah, they've definitely gone wider. Tire, the really, if money was no object, I'd be on a set of like some really bling black ink wheels with some pretty wide rims and probably running 28s. And for aerodynamic considerations, you want the tire width to basically match the rim width. So there's a huge amount of like tech and investment that goes into being one of the top time trials now. So this really is a discipline where you can buy speed to some extent. I have not apparently bought enough speed, but yeah, it's just to loop back on your question, the trend is definitely going wider. Um, it's definitely being able to run like slightly lower pressures too. So for example, I have a tubular front wheel on my TT bike,
Okay.
and that's kind of ancient technology, but it's still good. They still use tubulars for cycling on the velodrome.
That's right.
I opted for a 28 millimeter, and I ran about 77 psi in it.
Okay.
Um, and then on the rear, I actually do have I have a tubeless disc. All of these are things that I bought from like eBay or the Pros Closet, so it's a bit of a discount set of wheels, but still really solid equipment. And I'm running a 25 on the rear there, so
Nice.
kind of a mullet setup. But yeah, the trend is definitely wider, running lower pressures to kind of smooth out all of the vibration in the road.
By the way, quick caveat, are we saying is it RIP to Pros Closet that they actually officially closed their doors?
They rebooted. The Pros
No
Closet's
kidding.
back. Yeah,
Holy
yeah. I
smokes.
was I was really sad when I saw they were closing down, but they're back and they're doing the thing. I think
Wow.
they maybe ended up with like a bit too much inventory after the pandemic,
Yeah,
but I think they've recalibrated, and as far as I know, it's back. So
good.
happy days.
Yeah, because there were a couple competitors going on and some other options, but I think I don't know, personal thought is the more good options that exist in the market, I think the better for riders, but also it sort of keeps
Hmm.
everybody honest, and like,
Yeah,
providing good new services. But anyway,
absolutely.
tangent there. So yeah, what do you got? You get dinner yet and kind of get into recovery mode for tomorrow?
Yeah, I've been chilling like a villain really for most of the day, getting a little bit of remote work done. But we ate lunch as soon as we were done with the TT. It's just kind of all about like get done with an effort, put some calories in, relax, get out of your kit, get cleaned
Yeah,
up. I got a little nap. Honestly,
great.
it's one of the things that I love so much about this race and the host housing that we have here is the weather is fantastic. It's relaxing. We have a great house. I, if I can flip this around, I can show you my view here.
Oh
I'm
my
just,
gosh.
yeah, I'm just hanging out here, kind of golden hour vibes and some gentle breezes. So really lucky that the weather is really great and we can just kind of, hang out in the garage and let the boys be boys.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know, in the past we talked about some stuff you've done in the community with like leading out the kids' races at some of the races you've
Mhm.
done. It sounds like the community aspect out at this stage race is pretty good, and it's hopefully something that'll keep it alive and doing well for years to come.
Definitely. Silver City, it's a pretty yeah, a lot of retired folks here, but also just people who it's a much more like laid back vibe, I would say,
Yeah,
than a lot of other parts of the Southwest or New Mexico. Um, and because it's a small town, when the race is going on, it really sort of takes over.
that's
The
cool.
downtown is really awesome during the crit. Everybody's out there. It's like a day long party. And it's great to see the community comes out and supports the race year after year. I mean, you walk around downtown and you see like race guides, like a whole, black and white newsprint thing of like these are all the teams and here's a bunch of interviews and
I
here's how to
saw you
watch
were in
over the
there.
stage. Yeah, yeah. So it feels like almost a throwback to kind of a kinder, simpler time around here
Yeah.
with the race and the laid back vibes of the whole thing.
Well, it sounds like maybe next year, or I know we were trying to do some stuff this year, so we'll have to keep on your race calendar, see when you come somewhere
Mhm.
we can go to meet you up. But yeah, it'd be great to go to some of these like full like small town shutdown races where you just enjoy everything and everyone comes out. I know in the gravel scene we were talking like that's pretty big, and it's good to see it happen on the roadside too.
Yep, 100%.
All right. Well, I know we may get some footage from the race if stars align and we get a GoPro mounted up, so that could be cool. No pressure, but
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's on there now. So,
Amazing. Make sure we get batteries charged because I'm apparently bad luck on that. Um, so yeah, cool, man. We'll get some rest. We'll save this off so people can watch it. Get everybody tagged up. But this is really cool. It's really neat to kind of get people in the midst of stuff. I guess we have a media pass to tour the Gila here.
yeah, yeah, behind the scenes. Yeah, I can't wait to share tomorrow's adventure, and hopefully I'm able to snip out a few spicy bits from the race and share that with everyone.
Hey man, bring the pepper emojis with you and drop them all over the race course. Cool. Well, hey, get some rest. Great to talk to you, and hopefully we'll talk to you tomorrow. And if you're too tired, just send me a text and I'll update everybody.
All right, till next time.
Cool. Yep. See
Bye.
ya. Bye.